Guess who's back? I may have spent my Christmas in a jail cell for reasons unspecified, but hey, I made bail. And while I await my trial, I need a video to put out for the month of January. So, Halo 3, the third Halo, the end of the trilogy, the final chapter. Do you ever think about how perfectly that game ended? Do you ever think about how perfectly that series ended? It was a masterpiece of 3, beginning to end, plus bonus features, of course, and I love them all. Equally.
Across the street!
I am seriously so hopelessly in love with this series to the point where I bought the Xbox 360 version of this game before having an Xbox 360. And I still don't have an Xbox 360. It's amazing how this happened. The Bungie games are all good, and if their gameplay ever falls short, the great story will always make up for it. And the most amazing thing about it all is that it was actually allowed to end. Most series today like to run on too long and wear out their luster, but Bungie made the hard choice of quitting while they were ahead, which allowed their games to live on forever as certified classics. And boy oh man, I do sometimes think about what a shame it would be if that weren't the case. I mean, it's not like father company Microsoft would ever dare tarnish the legacy of their sweet summer child. Unlike Star Wars, Terminator, and other unlucky franchises, Halo will always be respected as the 10 out of 10 would recommend series that it is. And that's a hill I'm ready to die on. No!
I love you!
Liar!
No!
You're with him!
No! This wasn't supposed to happen! I trusted you, Microsoft! Halo 4? My ass! Halo 4 is the worst game in the series if we're not counting the worst game in the series. This is bull poop, crap water, dare I say, dog shit. This is like if they took the Lord of the Rings movies, ended them all with style and grace, and then made some dumbass prequel where Sauron cosplays as Aragorn and Galadriel is a war criminal. Oh. Halo 3 had such a beautiful, eloquent finale, you know? We defeated the Covenant, we eradicated the Flood, we married Cortana, and it all came together like a big happy circle. I love full circles, fuck Minecraft. But then this 343 Industries character shows up with that bastard son of his. Oh yeah, everyone knows that Halo 4 jerk. Me and the boys all hate that Halo 4 jerk. Oh, you defeated the Covenant? Too bad, because the elites still hate you and galactic racism is back in style. Oh, you saved Cortana? Sucks to suck. Now she gets a watered-down version of that rampancy thing from Marathon, only to go off and die. Oh, you liked Halo? Sorry, nerd. This game plays like a bad Call of Duty game made for general audiences. Guess what else? We added the Flagnum, the world's first flag and gun combo. Now there is no strategy to holding the flag in the hit game mode Capture the Flag. That won't be annoying. That won't suck. It's not like everything we touch turns to shit. Sorry, I got a little personal there. But listen, guy, I just don't understand why companies won't leave well enough alone. I get they want to make money, but here's an idea, Microsoft. Make a new game. Nothing built can last forever, Frank. I am aware that Halo's 4th entry has very poor gameplay, a completely wrong art style, and broken mechanics as icing on the cake. I played it, and I hated it, just like every disappointed video game enjoyer that came before me.
This is not retro.
Halo 4 is a bad game, but I don't want to add more fuel to that fire. That's old news. What I want to talk about is why Halo 4, in both its very existence and execution, is an insult to the legacy that our forefathers at Bungie left behind. Why even the thought of a 4th installment is a spit on the now fully rotted and decayed corpse of Halo. But if we want to call out Halo 4 for being the dumb, stupid piece of shit that it really is, we have to be nice first. By taking a look at this video's sponsor. Wait, I didn't mean it. Please don't leave. Yeah, no, if we want to understand what made Halo 4 bad, we need to first understand what made the original Halos so great. So let's go back to the end. Halo 3 is usually considered the best of the bunch, and for good reason. It brought an epic conclusion to the saga filled with emotional payoffs and awesome battles, fixed most of Halo 2's shit weapons, and brought about the best level design the series has ever seen. There's a reason that this game's ending is so good, and I actually think it's something that a lot of people miss. I mean, I missed it at first. It will be real embarrassing if it turns out everyone already knew that, and I didn't. Anyway, let's get to it. I've always adored Halo 3, but I always thought in terms of the story, it was the weakest of the three. And I still think that, but I'm willing to admit I didn't really give this game enough credit, not at first. If you think about Halo as a series, all of these factions really don't get along. The humans, the Flood, the Covenant, and even the Forerunners are always at each other's throats, or at the very least, are on thin ice with each other. The Forerunner are the ancient descendants of humanity, and they were meant to help them, but they're such big obstacles at times that they don't really feel like your allies at all. Not even the bad guys can get along with themselves. The Brutes and Elites spend the entirety of Halo 2 wanting to kill each other until, well, yeah, they kill each other. Even when they do team up, it's only because they have a common enemy. In Halo 2, the Gravemind pretends to help you against the Covenant, only to backstab you at the last second, it being revealed that your dumbass was just a distraction so he could infect High Charity. Then he does it again to the same two people in Halo 3. Guilty Spark also does it, and he also does it to you twice. All of these species and specimens are really only looking out for themselves, and that thought is a little depressing. Now, there is a point in this series where we see a pretty big team-up occur for a pretty agreeable end. The Elites, after being exiled from the Covenant, have joined with the humans to stop Truth from activating the Halo array. That's all fun and cool, but nobody there trusts or likes each other, and they aren't shy about it. They come to an agreement, but it's pretty clear each party was focused on itself and not the good of the group. Doesn't help that the Elite's first noble act of camaraderie was to,
blast half a continent.
In Halo, alliances are fragile, and they feel like they can be shattered by one seemingly inconsequential move. All these games, even Halo 1, teach us the same lesson. They are not your friends, stick to your house or be killed. But there is one character who doesn't act like this, the Arbiter. A lot of people were displeased with the way Halo 3 handled this character. It's understandable. Halo 2 introduced him with this grandiose story of overcoming the lies he's been told his entire life, and then turning his shame into strength as he becomes the new leader for his struggling kind, yada yada yada. Halo 3 was supposed to show us the results of this. More specifically, it was supposed to show us his revenge on the Prophet of Truth. And we did get that, but many fans feel like Arby was heavily sidelined in comparison with the Master Chief story. To show you what I mean, in Halo 2, you get to play as the Arbiter in 6 of the game's 13 different missions. Almost half. In Halo 3, you play as him in 0. Like, wow, what a glowdown. He's still very plot relevant, being with you in most missions, and he gets story beats of his own. But the argument that a lot of people make is that he's pretty much Chief's sidekick this time, after essentially being the main character of the previous game. But I look at this a different way. Like I said, the Arbiter gets to have his revenge, but Halo 2 did most of the work in that regard. There's an entire mission dedicated to you just murdering brutes to avenge your dead friends. I'd argue that Halo 3 focuses on something else for him, and I think it's something that makes much more sense for his character. Before Halo 2, he was the Covenant's top general, tearing human worlds apart without remorse. But it was after the destruction of the first Halo ring that Arbiter began to start questioning his world and gain some perspective. He met the heretic leader, the Gravemind, even Master Chief. Though all of these people were his enemies, they all told him the same thing.
Halo is a weapon. Your prophets are making a big mistake.
I would rather die by your hand than let the prophets lead me to slaughter. The prophets have promised you freedom from a doomed existence, but you will find no salvation on this ring.
Throughout this game, he learns horrible truths about a hierarchy that he had devoted his entire life to, pretty much finding out his entire life is a lie. But he finds strength within himself and within his people, which allows him to bounce back and do something really important. Halo is a series about a lot of things, but I think one of its core themes is the idea of brotherhood, and so Halo 2 poses the question.
Can an emo and a cowboy fall in love?
Halo 3 poses the question. Can the Elites and humans, or two widely different civilizations for that matter, form a bond as strong as brotherhood? Can they ever move past their hatred for each other and then become friends? And I don't just mean uniting for a common purpose. No, just genuinely helping one another even when it doesn't benefit them in the slightest. Well, that is what I think the point of Arbiter's character is. He saved his own kind, but now it's time for him to make up for his mistakes. Throughout this campaign, we see this lizard man do what an entire species couldn't do. He teaches Chief things he's learned. He fights by his side in the major battles of the Earth and Ark. He consoles him when that stupid bitch Guilty Spark kills Sergeant Johnson. He actually cares about people and things outside of his bubble. The thing that solidifies all of this is in a mission near the end of the game, a level called Cortana. And it's not a very good mission, not by a long shot. But it is a great part of the story, so whatever. It's a mission where Chief fulfills the promise he made to save Cortana from High Charity, which is in a less than savory state at the moment. If you think about it, this quest isn't actually that important to humanity in general. I mean, they've already defeated the Covenant, and for all they know, Cortana's probably destroyed beyond repair. Case in point, it's more of a personal thing for him, so he goes it alone. Oh hey look, there's the Arbiter. Despite no one asking him to, despite it not being to his or his kind's benefit at all, Arbiter shows up to save his friend. He didn't have to, but that's what friends are for. He also saved my ass in the campaign because I'm not very good at this game. But it's not over yet. After Cortana is saved, when the elites are leaving to go to their homeworld, Shipmaster gets a little salty that their leader isn't coming with them. But Arbiter is all like,
No, this is our fight, and I will see it finished.
once again, he didn't have to do this, but he did it anyway. In an awesome final mission for the game, the pair stroll on down to the newborn Alpha Halo where they finally defeat the Flood forever, as well as that traitorous pig 343, and it is beautiful. After everything they've been through together, they have formed an unbreakable bond, one that couldn't be broken even if they were explosively separated in two severed halves of a ship. Like that would ever happen. My point is that the Arbiter is the one character who's able to prove the universe wrong. A robot man and a Keith David lizard can be friends. A cowboy and an emo can fall in love. And after that, they are literally separated via a severed spaceship. The Arbiter is the one that makes it back to Earth, but Chief is stuck in another galaxy at the rear end of the Forward Unto Dawn. I think it's important that RB made it and Chief didn't. It's important because Chief's character has always been about giving everything he has for humanity, no matter what the cost. So it makes sense that he would make the ultimate sacrifice, while the Arbiter lives another day so he can pass on what he has learned. And that's exactly what we see. And what I think is the most beautiful moment of the entire series, we see the leader of humanity's military and the leader of the elites shake hands. This scene is so good because it gives hope that the Arbiter's arc will go beyond just him, and that this peace will continue to spread, and maybe one day the two species could be friendly enough to play Xbox with each other. So I believe I made a pretty good case that Halo 3's ending was pretty slick, as well as a nifty explanation on what Halo is actually about. Now I want you to take all that, pack it into a paper bag, and then dump it in a landfill because it means jack shit. Halo 4 does not understand Halo. It does not further the themes and the stories of what came before. Halo 4 is not a Halo game. Now before I get to how Halo 4 did it wrong, I'm gonna argue against its very existence. And I know that maybe that sounds a little petty, but I'm not trying to be unfair. I think I have something to say here. Just let me explain. First off, the story already ended, and it ended so well that it can't ever be topped. It's kind of like how Lord of the Rings ends so well that there's basically no loose ends, and anything further would be trash. We defeated the Covenant, we stopped the Flood, and we saved every species that has ever existed. The very fact that this game was made is an insult to all of that. What does Chief's sacrifice mean if the Covenant just comes back anyway? What was the point of Arbiter's story, sympathizing with the elites and eventually joining with them, if this game's just gonna reset all the progress you've made? And what makes it worse is that we don't get a concrete explanation on why the elites hate you again or why the Covenant is back. And I'm not counting external sources like comics or books for answers. If it's not explained in the game, then it doesn't matter. A story should be able to stand on its own and tell a complete story. You shouldn't have to rely on outside help to explain major plot points that are central to the series. So yes, I'm aware that the elites we see in 4 are from a Splinter faction. In fact, I think it makes sense that there would be an elite Splinter faction. However, there is no way of knowing this in a normal playthrough of the game, and while it makes sense that it would happen, it's very important for us to know how it happened. Or, you know, that it even did happen. So please, don't go in the comments and start telling me about the novels, because I'm gonna say something, and I mean this in the nicest way possible. I don't care. It just annoys me so much that all these species that we spent so long learning about and caring for are reduced to nothing more than video game enemies. And And I know that this is a video game, but Halo has always been so much more than that. The story was what brought me into this series, and it's a very vital part of any entry in the franchise. Halo 4 treats it like an afterthought. No, worse, it treats it like fan fiction. Does anyone else hear clown car music? Because I hear clown car music. It's really loud. They did at least shift the focus of the villainy to the Forerunner, which is a good choice, all things considered. We get to learn more about them, and that's cool and all, but it just makes the insulting inclusion of the Covenant all the more salty when we find out that they really are just here because it is a Halo game. Halo has Covenant. Remember the Covenant? And don't get excited about the Forerunners either, because they have their own issues. Throughout all of Halo, they have been this mysterious race that we only got bits and pieces of knowledge about. The limited knowledge that we had was a big part of what made them so interesting. So in Halo 4, a game that doesn't even understand what Master Chief looks like, it is no surprise that the backstory they come up with is less than great. For some reason, they decided that the humans were no longer the Forerunner, and the Forerunner were instead a bunch of lame elf aliens that basically treated humans as pets. You know how many parts of the original trilogy that weakens? A lot of them. And to make it worse, their designs for these new enemies are lame, boring, and uninspired. Where the original trilogy's aliens and factions were diverse and interesting, this game's Forerunners feel just how the Covenant feel now, like video game enemies. In other words, they are lifeless. The answers to questions we might have had before don't feel fun to learn about in this game. It's just kind of a series of uninteresting retcons. And the Didact is an embarrassment. We really were spoiled by the Bungie games, giving us these awesome varied villains like Truth, Tartarus, and Guilty Spark, each with different motivations and ways of achieving their goals. This Didact guy is just some stock Dark Lord with a big dumb forehead, cosplaying as a Sith Lord while trying to compensate for his lack of, well, anything. All he has going for him is this big floating ball thing he flies around on. Again, does anyone else hear clown music? Even if Halo 4 did manage to pull all of this off, even if it did have interesting villains, backstory, and at least something to say, didn't we already defeat the Forerunners in the last game? Why do we have to learn more about them? I always thought the air of mystery that surrounded them in the original trilogy was the biggest part of what made them so cool in the first place. And yet by the end, their part in the story still felt complete. It's not like Halo 3 didn't answer our biggest questions about them anyway. Answers that, by the way, were infinitely more satisfying. And this just makes me ask myself, what is Halo 4 even for? What real storytelling purpose does it serve? What concrete explanation is there for this to exist? I mean, we already know it's for money, but shut up. Isn't it just a little telling that when Microsoft mandated Bungie to make 2 more Halo games, instead of making Halos 4 through 5, they made 2 prequels? Even Bungie knew Halo 4 was a bad idea. Come on, man. Let me ask you something, and I'm really asking 343. Was all of this worth it? Was it worth digging up the grave of a finished franchise just to shit on it, let it stink, and leave? Because it doesn't seem like it was worth it. Don't you get tired of parading around a long, dead, beaten corpse just to reap no rewards? Doesn't this have to stop eventually? Speaking of parading around corpses, Cortana. She's been the player's loyal companion since Halo CE. She's a true pillar of the series that it would not have been the same without. So if 343 were to create a Halo 4, it is only natural that the same rules apply. But there's the thing about that. Cortana was pushed to the forefront in this game, but, yeah. You know what, let me just show you. Yeah, so Cortana dies in this one, and I'll level with you, they actually handle this pretty well and her death scene is rather heartfelt. She gets a great final moment with Chief, and 343 did a pretty good job with this, all things considered. What they did a less good job with was everything else to do with Cortana. It's all downhill from here. In Halo 4, she is as whiny as she is annoying, not at all like the clever, snarky, chill Cortana of Halo past. They try to turn her friendship with Chief into what feels like a rather cringeworthy love story. I appreciate that they try to develop the two's bond, and that's a noble endeavor, but you guys want to talk about something else? Look, 343, who do you think you're fooling? It's a little obvious that this story was built around the big emotional climax with her death, but instead of putting in the necessary work, they tried to fast-track the writing process so they could get to the good part. They kind of just haphazardly fumbled their way to the finish line with unearned dialogue and on-the-nose writing, and so what ends up happening is that many of these moments just feel awkward.
Sir, what if he's right?
Nav, as soon as we know we're airtight, I want a course laid into Carenay Station. Com, prepare a warning beacon.
I will not allow you to leave this planet!
Oh, that felt not right. It's clear they wanted this scene to feel tense, but all I feel is secondhand embarrassment. A lot of people like this scene, and I guess I can see why, but in the context of the game, it just doesn't work for me. The problem with building a story around a scene or moment that you want to have is that sometimes you'll have to bend the plot in unnatural ways so that you can get your characters to the point you want them at. Scenes like Cortana's meltdown just don't feel earned at all because it never got the proper build-up it needed. Things like this just have to happen naturally. And so when Cortana finally dies, yes, the scene is good in a vacuum, it's great in a vacuum, but it has to work in conjunction with this entire story that just doesn't have the legs to leave a lasting impact. If I have to say something nice about Cortana here, it's that Jen Taylor absolutely annihilated this role, like always. Her great voice acting gave a lot more needed weight to dialogue that has the subtlety of a brick, and I can at least appreciate that. There were a lot of good ideas here for Cortana too. Rampancy was one of those, even if it wasn't executed very well, and she also still has pretty good chemistry with Chief, even if I think Chief talking during cutscenes was a little off-putting.
Could it be a rescue team?
What is it? More brutes?
Worse.
Cortana is not the worst thing about Halo 4, not even close, but she is the saddest. She's the saddest because they could have done so much more with her, and post Halo 3 she was one of the few things left that actually had some potential left in her. But now when I look at Cortana, all I see is a big fat well of missed opportunity. They could have done so much more here and they just didn't. But anyway, it's time to wrap this up. You might have noticed that there are quite a few things I left out in this video. I didn't talk about Captain Del Rio, I didn't talk about Lasky, and I sure as shit wasn't going to talk about those Spartan 4s. Look, the Spartan 4s are losers, and they aren't worth my time, and they certainly aren't worth yours. But I actually like Lasky and Del Rio quite a bit, especially Lasky. I just didn't talk about it because I didn't think it related to the main point I was trying to get across, and that is that Halo 4 isn't an awful story. It's the ramifications it had on the Halo series as a whole that are the reason I made this video. There are great moments, good ideas, and there's a lot of framework for something good. I'm not trying to say that there's nothing to get out of this game. What I want to say is that while it succeeded in some areas, it ultimately broke Halo 3's ending and paved the way for much worse to come. Halo 4 is not as infuriating to me as Halo 5, and it's not nearly as pathetic as Halo Infinite, but this was the beginning of the end for the series. It was made by people who did not care about the source material, and instead by those who were only looking to squeeze as much money as they could out of a viable franchise. People who didn't take into account the themes and the purpose of the original story, and only used it as a platform to tell the stories they wanted to tell. They thought they knew Halo, they thought they could control Halo and make it into a stable little money cow, but they got one part of that wrong. Only Bungie knows Halo. And I'm not trying to say that making another game is impossible. You could even make another one at this part of the timeline. In fact, 343 has done it before. But what I am certain of is that it can't be a game about Master Chief, and definitely not Cortana. That ship has sailed. Anything they do with them will only further damage the older games, but without them there is no Halo 4. So the solution is simple. Don't make a Halo 4. If they wanted to make another mainline Halo game, why not just make one about Arbiter? He's the one with an actual narrative place to go. As stated when I talked about Halo 3, Arbiter made it back to Earth and Chief didn't for a reason. Chief's story was finished, but Arbiter, Shipmaster, and the Elite still had tons of stories left to tell. But if you're gonna take any lesson from this video, let it be this. Nothing is meant to last forever. That's why Grandpa dies and why Lego's yellow. All of this effort to keep Halo going was just a waste of time that could be better spent making a new great video game. I mean, don't we have enough sequels to things? Doesn't anyone want something new? But if Microsoft really does have to continue making these games, then it is the opinion of this YouTuber that they should leave the Master Chief out of it. Except for that Combat Evolved remake, I need that now!
It's just a call.